Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. Spright is still top tier, and if not, one of the best decks in the current format, utilizing Live Twin. Now if you don't know, the Duelist Cup most recently just ended, and this was a deck that did very well. Let me actually show you the list and the player. Here's their name. I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm not even gonna try. Also, I just genuinely can't read it. But they got rank 7, utilizing two different lists, branded, as well as Live Twin Spright. And this was their list, basically card for card. I did switch one Ghost Ogre for an Imperm, but everything else is card for card. And I decided to test it to see how well it did. And Live Twin is a very interesting choice. Honestly, I do not think that Live Twin is the correct option, nor do I believe Gishki, nor do I believe anything other than Tri-Brigade and Runic are good choices for Spright right now, but a lot of people are playing things like Live Twin. Now, what are the advantages of Live Twin? Live Twin specifically pops cards. Things like Evil Twin Lilla, things like Ghost Ogre, things like the Red, the Carrot, etc., as well as a whole bunch of hand traps, are very good in the current metagame. And the reason for this is because against Pearly, these are very good cards. Things like Droll, things like Ash, things like Imperm, things like a Veiler, etc. All very good against Pearly. On top of that, being able to pop cards with things like Lilla also make very good use of interacting with Pearly, especially since you can chain the Kiss a Kill to the activation of the opponent's My Friend Pearly and then pop it. So it's a great meta choice. Is it very good against the rest of the metagame? Well, here's the thing. Against Labyrinth, it's pretty good, because hand traps are still pretty good against Labyrinth, and more specifically, being able to play things like Ash Blossom, as well as, again, being able to pop cards after your opponents, I don't know, say, set them. You can just pop them, and now they can't really do anything, because that card is gone, especially good against trap cards and stuff like that. So going first, it's pretty good against Pearly and against Labyrinth. What is it not good against? Kashtira, the deck that a lot of people are playing right now. It's just not very good. And the reason for this is because of the fact that a single Kashtira basically contests your entire board and forces you to interact with it almost immediately, because of the fact that they can always threaten battle to walk over something while also potentially threatening an additional interaction. Like, for example, if they special summon a Fenrir, you have to do something to it immediately, otherwise they get basically 2 cards off of you. Right? Unless you have something like a red that can negate and destroy it, but then they just special summon another Kashtira monster, and it's not great. On top of that, being able to go first being able to go first for the Kashtira player can also be a death sentence, because you do kind of need to reborn from the graveyard using your Live Twins. So if you don't see the Spright half, playing against Kashtira isn't great. Now, Kashtira wasn't really at the top in the Duelist Cup. There wasn't a whole lot of Kashtira, and the reason for this is because basically every other deck does better against Kashtira and has a lot of outs to Kashtira, so it's not really that great in the Duelist Cup. However, it's still a good deck, and it's still a deck that sees a lot of play, and therefore, I just kind of going into this being like, I don't think this is the best deck right now, but it's a great meta call for the Duelist Cup. So I'm going to quickly go over the card by card and the explanations. Starting off here with let's just start with the hand traps. We're playing 2 Effect Veiler, 2 Droll and Lockbird, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom, 1 Ghost Ogre. This should be 2 Ghost Ogres. The other player was playing the 2 Ghost Ogres because, again, very good against Pearly. They activate the My Friend Pearly or a Pearly effect, and you just pop it and they can't do anything. It's really great. And then triple Imperm here. All in all, lots of hand traps. That's the advantage of playing this engine, is that it's just lots and lots of hand traps. However, moving on, we have ourselves the 3 Kiss a Kill, triple Lilla, as well as 1 Kiss a Kill Frost. Kiss a Kill Frost is a free special summon if you control a Lilla, so it's very nice. But on top of that, if it's in the graveyard and your opponent adds a card from their main deck to their hand, if you control, I believe, an Evil Twin, yeah, just any Evil Twin monster, you just banish it and draw a card. It's just nice. You draw an additional card. You could draw into a hand trap. It's very good. Moving on, we're also playing 2, we're basically maxing out on blue and jet, and then we're playing 1 apiece of red and carrot. You could play more of these. It cuts down on hand traps, so depending on what you want to go for, you can either play more hand traps or more extension, basically. And then triple Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires is very strong. And the reason for it is because it basically draws into a lot. Like, you don't really care too much about a lot of the stuff that you're banishing. Maybe you care about some of the Spright stuff, so you play more of that. But all in all, I mean, if you see a Lilla or if you see a Kiss a Kill, you're basically full comboing. And then on top of that, being able to draw like hand traps or triple attacks is very nice. We're playing 2 triple attack, we're playing 1 Prosby. The reason for the Prosby, very simple, it's an overpowered card. We're also playing 2 Sunny Snitch. Yeah, it's just a search card for one of these guys. Honestly, I didn't really care too much about this one. It was nice to have. There were a few instances where being able to see it was like a way to actually combo, but for the most part, it wasn't all that important because I was just hard at drawing these, and then I'd also see one of these, which wasn't great. But anyway, we're playing 2 Called By, 1 Crossout, 2 Starter, 1 Smashers, and that's it for the list. Moving on to the extra, we're playing 1 Cat Shark. I'm not a big fan of this. This could definitely be cut, but I do see why it's here. Cat Shark allows you access to a pretty easy OTK, and more specifically, getting Gigantic Spright very large to walk over a lot of other things, which is pretty nice, but I don't really see it, especially if we're also playing the Ninja Shadow Mosquito, which also does some OTKs, so it's kind of weird to see both this and this in here. I think one or the other is fine, maybe not both. But then there's 2 Gigantic Spright, the 1 Downerd and the 1 Zeus. And then for the links, we're playing 1 Cerberus because it is a Fiend. That is a 2 that we can go into after being 2 and Fiend locked by the Evil Twins and the Spright cards, respectively. We have the 1 IP Masquerena, the 2 Kiss a Kill, as well as the 1 Lilla Evil Twin. And the reason for this is because you go Kiss a Kill, link it off into, link off into Kiss a Kill, bring back the Lilla, link off all of that into the Lilla, and then bring back the Kiss a Kill, draw a card, and then link off both the Kiss a Kill and the Lilla into the second Kiss a Kill in order to utilize that effect on the following turn to get the pop instead of the draw with the Lilla. So there you go. We're playing 2 Elf, 1 Unicorn as well to be able to spin a card with the IP Masquerena, and then 1 Evil Twins Sunny, Trouble Sunny. This card is also very good for OTKs and for putting on the pressure and stuff like that. So again, it's kind of weird to see so many OTK options, but I guess, again, in the Duelist Cup, it does make a bit more sense. Being able to OTK efficiently, and more specifically, being able to OTK a lot is very nice. So, that's it for the list. Let's hop into this replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, here we are going second, and, well, you know, Maxi. To be fair, I do think that this is like the whole point of the deck, is to basically hand trap your opponent to prevent them from playing the game, so when the Maxi resolves, my opponent decides to not play the game. I draw 2, which is pretty nice. We're going to start off with the Pot of Desires, which will be not interrupted. Okay, cool. We're going to go and actually draw nothing, which is just Called By a triple attack. Cool. We go normal summon the blue, special summon the jet grab starter, and then we can go and activate the starter effect. Here they go for Book of Eclipse. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know why we decided to do that there, but it's because of the carrot. No, I banished carrot, so I wasn't ever going to be able to summon that, but alas, there we are. We just draw 2 and pass, basically, and we end up drawing into the Frost as well as the Sunny Snitch, which is actually pretty good. Out comes the Fenris, and I was correct to fire the Maxi when I did. We have the Called By, we have the red, I'm feeling okay. We also have Ghost Ogre, so I'm like, yeah, I think this is fine. My opponent just doesn't do anything. They don't activate the Fenrir, they don't do anything, they just walk over the red and pass. Very weird. We're going to grab the Lilla, and I believe at this point we basically have the game. We go normal summon, we go special summon off of the Frost, and now we go for the Elf. We're going to go Elf, bring back the red. My opponent goes for the Fenris, I negate. I'm just going to say no to that. Sure. Not happening. Cool. And then we get to go for the Gigantic here, and guess what? That is summon number 5. So Nibiru comes down. Now, my opponent does something very silly. I'm still in main phase 1, and they put the token in attack position. I don't know why. Now they die. No idea what's going on there. That was very funny, though. Yeah, I probably lose if if that Nibiru just resolves, and we don't have any punish for it. Luckily, my opponent is silly, so there you go. Alright, here we are, once again, going second, and this is one of the advantages of playing this deck, is that it actually does go second pretty well, because of just the sheer amount of hand traps that you have. But my opponent is on Mathmech. If you didn't know that activating Small World and revealing a light immediately means that it's Mathmech, now you do. Just almost always, it is Mathmech if they reveal a light. Even if they don't grab Mathmech Circular, if they reveal a light, it's Mathmech. Trust. Anyway, out comes Circular, out comes Sigma. Sigma grab up, Sigma special for the Superfactorial of the Circular activation, and then Alimbertion, yada yada. You've seen this, you know what's going on. They're going to grab the Diameter, normal summon the Diameter, special summon the Sigma, activate the effect, link off into Splash Mage. Splash Mage will then give them the zones for the Parallel Exceed that they have in hand. Activate the Parallel Exceed special summon from the deck, go into the Transcode Talker, activate the effect of the Transcode Talker to the Witch. I have not activated anything to this point. We now get to activate the Ghost Ogre, because of course my opponent is playing the worst version of the end board and going for the Transcode Talker into the whatchamacallit, the Heat Soul line. Don't do this. Don't do this. Play Cyrus Wick Kid. I learned this the hard way. Play Cyrus Wick Kid. It's just better. I know that Transcode is technically better because you can go for the G Golem after going for the Transcode and yada yada. Just play the Cyrus Wick Kid. It's just better. Yes, you get locked into twos. That's not really that big of a deal because you can end on Link Karibo, Cyrus Wick Kid follow up, as well as the Trap card, as well as in IP Masquerena to go into anything. What are you doing off of this Transcode? Nothing. Just a big guy. Who cares? Anyway, that's all. This is the one thing about Cybers that I will never understand. They have the triple tactics, thus they set the Imperm. Lingaribo, set one pass. Well, we know what that one set card is, and it doesn't contest this callback. So we get to just go for the Pot of Desires. We're going to go and draw into the Lilla. Lilla, special summon the Thunder, or special summon all of the two monsters from our hand, and go into the Elf. Sorry. We have the Carrot, which is kind of funny. And then we get to go for the Kiss-a-Kill. We're going to go for the Kiss-a-Kill line to my opponent, to which my opponent will go for the Superfactorial. I'm also going to Chain here. Yeah, I could have negated with the Carrot, which then they would have impermed, because my Carrot's not in the Elf zone. And the reason for this is because I have Cold Bite. I specifically put this here because I knew I had Cold Bite, and I was like, I do not care. I'd rather keep the Link zone open. And yeah, we're just going to Cold Bite the Diameter, preventing them from getting a negate, and just negate the Alimbertion. That's a really important imperm, by the way. Keep that in mind. We're going to go for the Lilla. Lilla bring back the Kiss-a-Kill. Kiss-a-Kill effect to draw into Triple Attack! And we're just better. Draw the blue. Draw the blue, grab the red. Red is now going to give us access to almost lethal. I did my math incorrect. I was like, oh, this is 100% lethal. It's fine. I go for the Carrot here. Now, I'm a bit of a goof, but that's okay, because we're going to go Lilla into the Kiss-a-Kill, and then pop, because we haven't activated the Lilla effect. Walk in for 100 off of lethal. Oh no, I didn't. Oopsie. But that's fine. We have 2 negates. We have, that's it. It's just 2 negates. But we do also have the Imperm, and my opponent goes and reveals Droll with the bridge of the Adagnister Gachikiri. To grab Circular. It just grabs Circular. Everything grabs Circular. But that's okay, because we're going to draw a card, and guess what we draw? Maxi. It doesn't matter. I'm not even going to activate it, because I'm just going to negate and destroy, and then they're going to activate the Sigma, and I go, that's totally fine. I'm going to special summon a monster instead, and just pop it, because I do not care. Activate the Imperm, because it's funny, and at this point the game is over. Good game. Let me just go to battle. There we go. And good game. Alright, now we actually get to go first. This is a very weird hand, but it's fine. It's actually a very strong hand, all things considered. We're going to start off here with the starter in order to grab the blue. Blue will grab up the Jet. Jet will then special summon itself, and we will search out the Smashers. Seems pretty good. We're then going to link off, or sorry, Exi off into the Gigantic. Gigantic grab the blue. I say blue. It's Lilla. Who cares? Link off into the Elf. Elf will then bring back the Frost, and then we will link off into the Kiss-a-Kill. Kiss-a-Kill will then bring back the Lilla, and then link those off into the other Lilla, and then Lilla will bring back the other Kiss-a-Kill in order to grab up an additional card. And is that 3 Imperms? You gotta love it. I'd be great at poker. We're gonna set 4 and pass. Fantastic, I fire off the Maxi in the standby phase, because there's 2 things that we can play around. We can play around either the Called By, or we can play around the Triple Tack. Now, to be fair, does Triple Tack, or should I play around the Triple Tack? Yeah, maybe. But here's the thing. I do also want to play around Kashtira, so I activate in the standby phase, or in the main phase, instead to play around the Kashtira monsters, not necessarily any other card. Yes, I could have played around Triple Attack or stuff like that. I could have also played around Called by activating this in the main phase to then grab the Elf to then do stuff, or protect with a Called by. But honestly, the Elf is probably better suited to summoning something else here. So anyway, there's that. My opponent goes for Pot of Duality and reveals Skill Drain. Skill Drain. Skill Drain. Well, of course they're adding that to their hand. I'm going to draw a card, and what do I end up drawing? But a Triple Attack. Fantastic. My opponent then goes Dimensional Fissure, and then tries to pop a card. And I go, okay, I'm going to go for the Elf here, and then I'm also going to go for the Smashers, because I'm almost certain that this is a Skill Drain. And look at that, I absolutely called it correctly. So we're going to go for the blue here, to which they will negate with the Freezing Curses. I'm like, that's fine, they basically don't have anything here. And then they go for the Pot of Disaster, sorry, not the Pot of Disaster, the Card of Demise. Why is this card legal? I hate this card. I hate this card so much. They're going to set a whole bunch of cards, and they just had the Amano Awato. Now, I could have impermed, and I should have impermed, and that is a mistake on my part, because I didn't... To be fair, I forgot these cards are bad. The Evil Twins are bad. They're just only activatable in the main phase. So, I forgot, and I went to the end phase, and I went, oh, right, I now can't grab back the Lilla. It's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. We're going to special summon the blue here. We're going to activate the effect here, and, well, Teekboo. So, I guess I just special summon the Lilla, and pray? I go to the battle phase, Slumber activates. I actually activate the Munin, or I activate the Imperm here on the Munin, to which they're just like, yeah, sure. And then I go, oh, right, I have to activate this one. And then they negate that one. I'm like, I was kind of hoping that they would take the bait and negate the Imperm there, but they don't. I don't really have anything here, so... Cool. Well, I hope that they don't have anything. They draw Inspector Border. I hate this game. I hate this game. I hate this game. That's fine. They're going to go for the Hugin. They're going to banish the Amano Awato. Luckily, the third Imperm comes in clutch. Let's go. At this point, the game is ours, and I'll show you why. So we're going to start off here. We are going to go to the main phase, and Cat Shark. Cat Shark is so good here, and I cannot stress this enough, because it's a beast, specifically. If this is not Teekboo, this card is also very good, because it's also a water. Wild. This card is very good into Floodgates. But we're going to go for the Pot of Desires, and the main reason Cat Shark is very nice is because if I see a Max C, I get to go Gigantic Spright on top of all of this, or if I see any other two as well. If I see the Lilla or the Kiss-a-Kill as well, that also works. I get to normal summon them, I get to go into Gigantic Spright, and then I get to walk over the field and do a whole bunch of damage, and then still make a Zeus, which is just fantastic. Like, that's an insane thing that I could have done. And then I could have also special summoned the Carrot. Special summon? No, I couldn't have special summoned. But at the very least, I could have had some pretty good follow-up, which is nice. So there's that. But it's fine, because we can still go Cat Shark, and we can still go for the Zeus, and not really be worried. So we're going to go for the Downer, we're going to go for the Zeus, and at this point, the game is over, and my opponent does realize that, and just concedes. So, good game. Alright, here we are going first against, I'll just tell you, it's against Pearly. But yeah, we go and special summon, or normal summon the Life Twin Frost in order to go into the Gigantic Spright here. They ash this, and I'm like, no, I kind of need this to resolve, thank you very much. So I am going to call by that, or cross out that. We're going to go for the Spright Blue, grab Jet, and then I get to look at their hand. And it's Pearly! Fantastic. So here, I grab Delicious Memory because we have the out to the My Friend Pearly with the Ghost Ogre, and I'm not really worried about the Purlily, as well as the Snow. So, yeah. Also, being able to take away the quick play that would have then gotten them additional advantage had they pitched the Snow is very strong here. So we're going to go and grab the Jet. Jet grabs Starter. Starter will then be used to go into the Carrot, and we're going to go for the Elf. Elf, bring back the Red. We're going to go for the Carrot here. We're going to link those off into IP Masquerena, and then we are going to pass the turn. Now, the IP Masquerena isn't great, but it is kind of just like a thing that I can do, or like a link monster that I can go into to utilize red to basically pop a card, which is the main goal. So we do know the My Friend, we know the Snow, and more importantly, we know the Pearly. So my friend and Pearly, we have the outs to both of those with the Ghost Ogre and the red, so I'm feeling pretty good here. My opponent goes for the Pearlily, so obviously we pop that. We're gonna negate and destroy. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. And then triple attack comes out and I go, oopsie. I did a bit of a goof. Realistically, as soon as that monster came down, I should have immediately special summoned the carrot. The fact that I don't is a mistake on my part. Shouldn't have done that, but that's fine. Because they go for the happy memory, of course I have to negate this. I know that they have the snow in hand. If they get the snow, they get additional advantage. They could have potentially drawn into another quick play, which could have given them even more stuff. And their Pearlily is still activatable, so I'm like, no, that's just not going to happen. We're going to negate that here. If they have another quick play, we know one of the cards in hand. If they have another quick play, I am just kind of doomed. I'm just kind of praying that they don't have another quick play. But obviously we have the outs to the My Friend Pearly, so we pop that, and my opponent passes, and I go, awesome, we should have this game. And yeah, my opponent just concedes, realizing that, yeah, there's nothing that they can really do. We do have that, so good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and in all honesty, this deck is pretty good against Pearly, and against Labyrinth, and against other decks like that. However, is this the best version of Spright, or is it the deck that you should be playing currently in the for the latter? Honestly, probably not. While I do think that it is good, I think that there are just better options. I think the biggest issue with this is while it can play a lot of hand traps, it does have a pretty abysmal matchup against Kashtira, at least compared to other Spright builds. Like, for example, anything that would play like board breakers or what have you is going to do better. Any of like the runic variants I think are much better against the Kashtira engine, and that's mostly due to the fact that all of those cards, all of the runic cards, have the ability to basically interact with the opponent's monsters without actually forcing any of the other activations. So for example, you can go activate your runic freezing fire or freezing curses on something like the unicorn, and if a Fenrir is on the field, it's not going to be able to activate anything there, which is pretty nice. So, I don't know. It's good. I do like the build. I think it's still good, but I do think that Spright isn't all that powerful. Obviously, I did play pretty poorly, I will say. But yeah, there's a lot of things in the extra deck that I'm not a big fan of. I got so many terrible banishes with my Pot of Desires, so that was fun. I think I'd rather just have like the third triple tack, or like, I don't know, anything else really. But yeah, Pot of Desires was honestly, it's still good. It's still very, very strong. So anyway, it's a good deck. I think that it's great. Just not as good as I think some of the other runic, or even just like, I think Tri-Brigade Spright is also probably better, even though it's not as good. It still has a bad matchup against Kashtira. I think it has like a more reasonable matchup against Kashtira, being able to go into a Shureg, or with Revolt and stuff like that, on top of all of the other stuff that Spright does. So it's a little bit better, but it's still not great against Kashtira. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.